Okay, so the first Remembrance boss that I did in Elden Ring, as I guess it was probably for most people, was Godrick. I'm just gonna go ahead and place him into the tier already. He's a C tier boss for me as it stands. He's not bad, but he has a really cool design, I will say that, and I really like the cutscene where he's like fusing or like grafting the dragon. That's pretty cool. But he's a pretty easy boss, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, you know. But I think I did him on like my 4th try, something like that, on my first run, and I will maybe also should mention that like when I first I guess played like the first half of Elden Ring or so, or maybe the first third, I had just come off DS3 of my first run, and I was still very new to these games, so even despite that I did not have any trouble with him whatsoever. So like I think he looks a bit more intimidating at first. I think this is something that I've noticed with a lot of people. He looks pretty intimidating with like all the arms. To be honest, low-key even just the grafting or like grafted scion enemies are kind of harder than him, to be honest, if they had the same amount of HP as he does. So like that's probably the first thing that you think of. But yeah, he's not really that difficult of a fight. Can easily get a lot of punishes in, for example in the second phase transition, or even before the transition when he's cutting off his arm, you can get some good hits in. Yeah, decent lore-wise, pretty cool cutscene and stuff, but not the most memorable fight, that's for certain. Moving over to the next Remembrance, this one is the Regal Ancestor Spirit. Another, or I guess in this order, the first one of those kinds of bosses where it's a weird case. Like they have a normal version, I guess, of the boss, and then they have like a beefed up version, I guess. I forgot what the normal version is called actually, but you also find it in, what's it called, like the Hallow Grounds or something like that first underground area when you go to the Siofra well or whatever it's called. Like I don't even remember that much, to be honest, like how different he was to the first time I guess you fight this boss, which should speak for itself, as it is definitely a D tier boss for me within the Elden Ring Remembrances. To be honest, like it is cool, like it is a cool looking boss the first time you fight it, and I mean the literal first time, like the first try maybe, you're like, oh, this looks beautiful. I think the music is pretty good if I remember correctly. I don't have like all the OSTs in my head, but just the fight is really boring, and I think even the like the boss weapon or whatever you can get from him is, well, I haven't used it in my build, I guess, but it didn't strike me as too interesting. And yeah, like I said, I don't even really remember what distinguishes this one from the other version of the Ancestor Spirit. I just looked it up. It's literally just called the Ancestor Spirit, and I actually do not even know how it differs from the Regal Ancestor Spirit, the one that does give you the Remembrance. Yeah, just an overall unremarkable boss in my opinion. I don't think anyone would ever fight this boss after the first playthrough again, unless they just need like its item for the build. Like who would go out of their way to fight this boss for like enjoyment, I guess. Like no one's gonna do that. But next up we have which I think was the third Remembrance boss that I did. Maybe I did her before the Regal Ancestor Spirit, but I don't think so. But yeah, next up is Rennala, and I'm gonna place her as well in D tier. I think she's slightly better than the Regal Ancestor Spirit. Rennala, Queen of the Full Moon, she is a weird one for me. I actually really liked her, I gotta say, when I first beat her, and for quite some time. Just the second phase is absolutely stunning, and you will probably hear me repeat this. I mean, it's no secret that Elden Ring is a very pretty looking game, especially if you're into all the different light effects and just different bright colors flashing across the screen. You can think of that what you want, but at least in Rennala's case, I think it is definitely a very beautiful fight with the full moon in the background. First boss, of course, basically just Deacons of the Deep. Could be worse. I mean, I played DS3 first, so I pretty instantly figured out the gimmick. It's not too bad, pretty easy on, like, once you figure it out, to instantly get back into the second phase. The second phase can get annoying. I think I didn't struggle too bad with it, but I've seen some people really struggle with it actually. Like, I guess it depends on like your experience in these games and also on your build. But just the I guess the summons that she brings into the fight, that they can be really annoying. Just I think there's a dragon, there's a giant, there's the Bloodhound Knight thing. Oh, and the wolves. The wolves might actually be the worst now that I remember. But yeah, not too memorable of a fight in terms of the fight if you're ignoring like the visuals and everything. Amazing cutscene again in the face transition. She just looks beautiful, to be honest. Like, and she has so much aura when like her face is close up in that cutscene. But as for the fight, definitely not too memorable. Okay, so next up, I'm pretty sure I did Astel, Naturalborn of the Void after Rennala in terms of remembrances, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it into D tier again. Seems like we didn't have the highest quality of bosses to start off the game in my playthrough, but it's whatever. I guess all's well that ends well, huh? But another one of those weird bosses, because it, just like the Regal Ancestor Spirit, there's like two versions of this boss in a way. There's Astel, Naturalborn of the Void, which is the remembrance, and which, upon thinking about it, actually is a bit confusing to me, because the second version of this boss is, I think it's called Astel Stars of Darkness, which you meet way later in the game in the consecrated snowfields in like a mine. But it's weird because the first time you meet him, it's actually the remembrance and not like the second time isn't the remembrance, which is the case with the Regal Ancestor Spirit and is what I would expect. But and also I think Astel Stars of Darkness, isn't it actually the more interesting version of the fight? I don't think it's that different, but what I do think is different, when he does the grab attack upon teleporting away, I think only for Astel Stars of Darkness, there's like, you can see a bunch of these things in like the grab attack animation basically. It's like he's multiplying. At least I've seen that in the video the other day. Like, I didn't notice that on my own, so maybe it's even the case for the Naturalborn, but that looked cooler, and I wonder if it also just means that it's harder to avoid the attack. I don't know. To be honest, I always just panic rolled when he teleported away because I just couldn't see where he's coming from to go in for the grab, so I didn't even know where and when to dodge. And panic rolling actually in this case did serve its purpose. But yeah, I actually love the design of this boss, I gotta say. It doesn't have a cutscene or anything, but just something about it, man. Like, something about these like celestial beings being underground, with like planets on its tails, and of course again the classic Elden Ring, billion different flashing colors and lights, and it looking like a centipede, I guess, kind of. Also the way like how there's a normal enemy of it, I think that is actually in this case kind of cool. Like, you see it, I forgot what the area is called, but like in one of the underground areas you see it like hanging from the ceiling. It just looks so like menacing. Just the face looking like a skull as well, and I guess the eye inside of the skull, like actually like might be 10 out of 10 design like looks wise. But the fight, I wish it was like anywhere near as good, because well, the grab attack is a bit weird, but I don't have the biggest gripes with that. It's just this boss kind of keeps running away, man. Like, I don't know, it's like, it kind of felt like I was fighting Midir again, just that this boss isn't as tanky, thankfully. But what I also thought it was annoying is that, maybe this is like a bit of a weird complaint, but I was always going for the head, like trying to stagger it, because I really thought this was one of those bosses where you, like, I don't know, like you really want to go for the staggers. And I'm sure it's possible. Probably, I feel like in this game, any boss is like staggerable and repostable, which is kind of cool, I guess. But I just couldn't get it with this one. I don't know. Maybe just the like the limit, I guess, or whatever for it is too high. Because most parts of its body take less damage, like the fangs or the hands, I guess. So you do want to aim for the head. but it's at the same time also more risky, right? Because that's where like most of the attacks are gonna come from. It might grab you with the fangs and stuff like that. So I think it would be cool if that was like that risk you take for hitting the head would pay off even more by him staggering maybe a bit more easy. And I don't know, it's just, it runs away so much. I mean, it doesn't have any bullshit attacks, though I'm actually not sure when he does the meteorite attack, which is a cool spell actually, like what's it called? Is it called Meteorite of Astel or something like that? I'm actually not sure like what the best way to dodge that is if you're like close to it, for example. I managed it fairly well, I guess, but I don't know like if I was just lucky, because I was watching other people and it seemed a bit weird. But yeah, I just wish the fight was as good as the design. And I guess that's all there is to say about Astel. So next up we have Radahn. And actually, I'm not sure if I did him like first time after... I'm actually pretty sure I didn't do him after Astel immediately. Sorry, I mean like... that I didn't do him before Astel, because I actually think I did first try Radahn before Astel. But I gotta say, this boss I really struggled with actually. Like I would even say, I wasn't stuck, but basically I was playing the game a lot. Then I got to Radahn for like, I tried him for, I don't know, like 2 hours maybe. And then I just didn't play the game for a few months. So if you want to count that as being stuck, I guess I maybe was a little bit stuck on Radahn. Then when I picked up the game again, I did a few other things, like for example, beating Astel, I think, was one of the things I did in the meantime, and just, you know, getting stronger, leveling up, changing my build. I changed to like an intelligence build. I didn't use sorceries in this game. I just wanted to go for a cool looking physical weapon, and a lot of the weapons that scale with intelligence just looked pretty cool to me, like the crystal sword, for example. But yeah, I did really struggle with Radahn actually, but I think it's a cool fight, and I would say, if I remember correctly, I did think so from the beginning as well. So yeah, it's actually an A tier boss fight in Elden Ring in terms of the remembrances for me. Again, just phenomenal presentation. The cutscene is really cool with him like on his horse and like eating the corpses of, what was it, his fellow men or something like that. Just sick presentation, and like all the hype about the Radahn festival and in the story. People like traveling so far just to have a chance at beating him, and you of course being one of them. Of course, I guess I should mention this, I did not use the summons in the fight. I know they're part of the story, I know that some people use them. I guess I won't judge you if you use these summons, or maybe summons in general in bosses. I just think it's like, at least for a first playthrough, I want to beat the bosses myself. I don't want the game to do the bosses for me, and I know they're not gonna solo Radahn, or any remembrance is gonna solo a boss. Well, at least you know, actually want them to and have like a specified build for it. But I don't know, I just think it's like when you're using summons, especially just the fact that they take the aggression of the boss away, just makes it so much easier. And it's not like you want to make the game hard for yourself on your first run or anything, but I just think it's like I'm not playing the game myself. That's why I didn't do it in this fight either, and I'm glad that it's not like a required thing, because if that was a required thing, whatever reason, like I don't know, maybe you just do 0 damage or something without the summons, if it was a gimmick fight like that, then he would certainly be like D tier probably. But the fact that you can take him on one on one, and I guess he was even stronger on release, I heard. Glad I didn't play the game back then, but it just makes it so much more satisfying when you beat him on your own. And the first phase, like, he has some crazy combos. Like when I first saw that, like just how many combos and he has and how quick they are, I thought like, I'm never gonna beat this thing. Like, sorry, I've played DS3 and I thought, I don't know, Dancer or maybe Gale are difficult bosses, or Friede, but there's no boss I feel like in DS3 that has as fast combos as him. Maybe Pontiff. But yeah, so that scared me. But eventually, when I picked up the game again, I did get to the second phase fairly consistently. I'm actually curious, because on the phase transition, he does like the meteorite thing, right? Like he flies up to the sky and then comes down. I'm actually curious if you can avoid that just by using iframes, I guess, with a well-timed roll. Because I always just used the horse to run away, and that went well. But I assume you probably can, but I never really risked it, except for the first time when I died trying to do it. But yeah, the second phase actually then was kind of difficult for me, so I would say he's even pretty well balanced in the two phases. I think it's been quite some time at this point since I've done him, but there was one attack in the second phase that really screwed me over. I think it's literally just like the meteorites that he throws at you. One of his gravity sorceries. They really were difficult for me, but when I did eventually beat him, I was really proud of myself. And yeah, I don't know, I actually could low-key see this boss going down a bit for me. I don't know why. I just have a feeling about it, because I feel like a lot of people who love Elden Ring don't talk about him that much. Correct me if I'm wrong. And like, I feel like maybe it's a boss that is like impressive on your first time, but not on consecutive playthroughs. But I don't know. For now, I think he's very memorable for me. It was really cool in my first playthrough, so I think A tier for Radahn for me in the base game Remembrances is fair. Okay, so after Radahn, I'm pretty sure the next Remembrance that I did was Morgott, and it was either Morgott or Rykard, but I think it was Morgott. And he is a weird one. Actually, I'm trying to think right now. Can I even? Yes, okay. I was not sure if I can even do Morgott with these bosses, because you need like 2 of the Great Runes or whatever they're called. But you do get one from Radahn, I'm pretty sure, and you do get one from Godrick. So I think Morgott was up next. Either way, Morgott. So I was kind of surprised to see that Margit is, I guess, the same person as Morgott, more or less, as far as I understand it. Like, it's a clone of him. And Margit on its own, I don't know what got into me, but I struggled so bad when I first, like the very first day I played Elden Ring, I struggled so bad with Margit for some reason. I think it took me 2 hours actually to beat that boss. I don't know, but so it was cool to see that that Margit has like a beefed up version of himself, being Morgott, his true self, I guess. But the weird thing about it is, I beat Morgott second try. Like, I don't know, I guess my build was just strong for it. I was using the Dark Moon Greatsword, so I guess what's it called, like the Moonlight Greatsword in the other games, and that thing just destroyed him, with the weapon art especially. But so this is probably the boss that I'm most looking forward to fight again, or like fight properly, I guess. I mean, I don't know if you can even say that I didn't fight him properly. I just destroyed him. What can I say? But he looks so cool. Like, his cutscene is amazing. Actually, his design isn't the coolest. He looks kind of nasty. But just his attacks look so sick. Like, when the big spear he has where he charges at you, and my favorite, the one where, what does he even do? He like holds his hand up or something, his arm, and like holds a bunch of golden swords down, and they just rain down on the arena. It's so sick. Just a really great looking fight. He has some cool combos. I'm actually good against bosses or enemies with delayed attacks, like Nameless King in DS3, for example. It's, I guess, kind of my strength in a way. And him and Margit are really bosses where you need to have some patience, I guess, with your timed dodges. So yeah, I would like to try him again. And I think his attacks, just his moveset seems very fair from what I remember. It's like well telegraphed and a good mix of fast and delayed attacks. So he's actually S tier boss for me, I would say. I could again see this changing because I really have so little experience with him, considering I did him on my second try. But just as well, just the vibe from the fight and the arena, the cutscene, the looks of it and everything. I think it's not a bad take to have Morgott in S tier, especially after your first playthrough. So speaking of ugly characters, we have this guy next, Rykard, the Blasphemous or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, blasphemous indeed. Look at his face. It's another gimmick boss fight, or I shouldn't say another. It's probably the first real gimmick boss fight in this list, but very similar to Yorm of Tiers 3, who he gets compared to a lot, and I think for good reason. You need like not the Storm Ruler, but the, what's it called? Is it called Great Serpent Hunter? The weapon that you need, not need, you know, but his gimmick weapon that you most of the time wanna do his fight with. I don't know. The first phase is, both phases are kind of similar to be honest. Like maybe it's cool on the first playthrough when you don't know what's coming to see the phase transition and then him having like a face on the back of the snake's neck or something. His voice actor is insane. Let me just say that. What does he say? Like, we must devour the gods together or something like that. It's pretty funny. It's pretty memorable. Visually of course a cool fight, but yeah, I'll have to put him in the tier in between Astel and the Regal Ancestor Spirit. I don't know. It's just gimmick boss fights are never gonna be like high up for me in general. And I know you can do him with other weapons as well, I guess. It's just a boring fight. I don't know. And even if you want to compare him to Yorm, which I think does make sense, Yorm is a much better fight to do without the gimmick weapon. Like, I haven't done this myself, okay? I have actually only beaten Yorm as well with the Storm Ruler. But from what I've seen, for example, on Yorm, if you can stagger him pretty easily. If you attack his hands, and you can even get extra damage on his head when he's not just when he's standing and you have a bow or something, but even when he's like kneeling down for an attack or after you stagger him, you can get some bonus damage in on the head. And I don't know, it's not like I'm swinging for Yorm, okay, but he's even worse, I would say, than Yorm to do on a normal build. So he's better, I guess, in a cinematic way. I think this is what Squilla Killer said as well. Like in every other aspect though, Yorm is just better. And like I said, Yorm is already far from my favorite boss in DS3, and Rykard just isn't even as good. Okay, I'm pretty sure that after Rykard I did do the Fire Giant. I don't know, he just has so much HP. I've watched Gino Machino, you probably know him, the famous challenge runner, a great guy by the way. I've watched him do this boss with fists only. Do you know how much it took him? It took him 5.5 hours. That's how much HP this guy has. And of course I haven't done that, and okay, I didn't watch all 5.5 hours to be fair, but I don't know, it's just kind of an unremarkable fight. I don't know what to tell you, to be honest. Like, of course it looks kind of cool. Well, he's also one of the ugly bosses, but I guess the phase transition is kind of cool, where he like essentially becomes a volcano. But he's so slow, but at the same time he sometimes keeps running away from you. I remember, I think there was one or two weird attacks that I could never really quite get a good feel for. I think one of them was like when he's just rolling, and I sometimes got caught in weird ways. And there was something about the second phase, I don't quite remember, but I think just the hitboxes were really weird, or I don't know, to be honest. Like, I didn't struggle badly with this boss. I think it took me like, I want to say an hour, which isn't that good, I guess, but it's not like I was tilting against him or anything. But even despite that, and it being sort of a recent boss for me, it's really not memorable for me. And when I think that this is, as far as I know, an essential boss to beat the game, and that I'm gonna have to fight him every time that I play Elden Ring, he's for sure one of the bosses that I'm not looking forward to. Just kind of boring, I guess. I don't know what else to say about Fire Giant, to be honest. He's D tier for me. I actually do have him ahead of Rennala in my pre-made tier list. I guess the fight itself is better. I for sure prefer Rennala in terms of the design and pretty much everything else. But I guess if I think about having to fight Rennala or Fire Giant, I could imagine that there's at least cool ways to break Fire Giant, like to trivialize the fight. I've actually seen some of them, so at least that could be cool. Whereas Rennala is probably kind of samey every time you do her. And to be fair, Rennala isn't a required boss though. But yeah, it's not like I'm really swinging for any of these D-tier bosses, okay? Alright, next up, I'm pretty sure I did Mohg, Lord of Blood next. I feel like I say this for every boss, but Mohg is also a really good one for me. His design is so sick, especially in the second phase, when he gets those black wings and stuff, like, whew, sheesh, that's opium as fuck. But just the fight itself, I feel really conflicted about it, to be honest. When I first did it, I realized that, or I didn't realize, I guess, I was so confused, like, how do you fight against the Nihil thing? Like, his voice actor, by the way, is so sick. Like, when he says Nihil, Nihil, that's just cool to me. But I was so confused, like, I thought I had to time my rolls well to not have, like, all my HP taken from me, or that I would have to hit him while he's doing it, or, you know, you have that red circle around you when he casts that attack on the phase transition. I thought that you have to avoid getting it somehow, but as it turns out, literally the only way to do it is to find that one random crystal tier that's only meant for him. I actually don't even remember where you find it. I don't know if I had it before, if I like looked it up online and got it then. But what also really ruins this, but like that's already bad enough in my opinion. I hate having to like, how do I say this? Like, I hate having to do my build around a boss where I'm basically having to be like defensive on it. Like, I guess it's already annoying enough if you have to change your build specifically for one boss. Not meaning that your build is bad, but just, you know, for this one boss, it's kind of any build, or like 90% of builds. You're gonna have to at least change your tier, but it's just annoying. It ruins your build. Like sometimes you want to have two specific crystal tiers, and I guess for this fight, I mean, you can still do it without it, of course, but it's just gonna be really annoying, especially considering that he heals himself during the phase transition. And what really annoys me even more about it is that this boss kind of in a way ruins the game, because he is literally not doable no hit as far as I understand it. Please correct me if I'm wrong, and this would make me like the boss more, but you cannot do him no hit. You always get hit even with the crystal tier, so this kind of ruins challenge runs for me. I mean, not all of them, of course, right? But it's just so unsatisfying to me. Of course he's not required to play the game, right? But if you want to do all remembrances no hit, for example, it just doesn't really make sense. You can say like, oh, of course that doesn't count because it's unavoidable, but it's just so unsatisfying to me. A bit annoying is also like in the second phase how there's just so much blood and fire everywhere on the floor in the arena. It's just a bit too much. I think they could have toned that down a bit. Like, I like the idea that your positioning and I guess your pathing is something you have to consider in the fight in the second phase especially. I think that's really cool, but I think it's a bit extreme. But for sure I would say also similar to Morgott, also a fight that I should probably do again, and I actually want to like this boss more. His OST is sick, his design is amazing, his voice actor is phenomenal, and I do like his like normal attacks, I guess. I mean, just the combat, I guess, of the fight is actually good. So I actually want to like this boss more. I know he's one of the favorites for most people, and he's gonna be in A tier for me for now. I know it sounded like I'm completely hating on him at first, but I just had to get all of that out of the way. I really want to like him even more, and I can maybe see myself liking him more, but he's never gonna be my favorite. Probably not top 3, as long as that thing with the crystal tier exists. It just irks me, man. I don't know. So afterwards, one of the coolest areas in the game, I think, Farum Azula, or Crumbling Farum Azula, is where I met Maliketh. And again, this is a weird fight for me, because actually I think I did him first try. I did him first or second try, with the Glintstone Chris. Maybe you can say I cheesed him with that weapon. I don't know. But yeah, I guess I kind of ruined the fight for myself. Well, ruined the fight for myself in a way by just having a way too easy time for a boss that's definitely one of the hardest bosses. Even I can recognize that. But it looks amazing, and it's actually an S tier boss for me. I know this might be surprising, but even despite having such an easy time, it was still a lot of fun. And just like Morgott, this is definitely gonna be a boss that I'm gonna look forward to the most on a continuous playthrough of Elden Ring, like on a second playthrough. And similar, I guess, to Morgott as well, his design, I mean, I guess Morgott was the ugly one, right? But his design is amazing. Just the face transition, his weapon, in general the effect, I don't actually know what it's called, but that effect that he can cast on you, that all the Black Knife enemies do, where your max HP is being, I guess, reduced or like drained for a while. It's just pretty cool, and it looks so cool. Amazing cutscene in the face transition, cool voice actor as well, cool arena, cool area that he's in. And what I love actually also about this fight, I guess in a way, I got a lot of appreciation for this fight also from watching other people play it, also like challenge runs. But what I love about this fight as well is how he just jumps around. Like, it's so cool how he jumps even on the pillars. I think it's just amazing. I don't know. I don't even really know how to explain it. But not just that, but he also does some, like, I guess, normal jumps, or like, I think he does like an attack where he spins sort of sideways in the air, or like diagonally, I mean. And while he's doing that, he's shooting out those like things at you, those attacks at you that can drain your max health. And it just looks so cool. And it reminds me in a way of some of the attacks that Gale does in his last phase. I mean, being compared to Gale, Slave Knight Gale, is always a good thing, right? So definitely, I mean, it's maybe a bit weird that I have the two bosses that I more or less had the easiest time with for some reason in S tier. I definitely wouldn't say I'm someone who likes bosses because they're easy. I mean, Regal Ancestor Spirit is the worst, and I also first tried. But yeah, despite that, I can just see that they're great bosses, and I'm really looking forward to fighting them again. Now, probably what people have been looking forward the most to about in this tier list. Where does he place Malenia? Everybody's favorite Elden Ring boss, everybody's favorite Souls boss, the hardest boss of all time, right? I mean, yeah, I think that's, for me at least, still also pretty undeniable. She is definitely the hardest boss I've ever fought. More or less the only boss in the Souls game, I would say, that took me longer than one day. I guess Radahn, for Radahn it also applies, but I don't think any other boss I was stuck on for multiple days, especially where I was like actually trying for like a whole day's session and just couldn't do it. Malenia, I don't know how long she took me, just some double-digit amount of hours. I would say maybe like 14, maybe something like that. I could probably also say a lot about this boss. At first I tried her with a power stanced dagger build. I had the Glintstone Chris and the Crystal Dagger, just because it looked cool. I've never power stanced actually before. I love the moveset on the L1 attack, and against like normal enemies, and some of the other bosses actually did it against Horrorlu as well. It's fun, but I swear it's so difficult to do this build against Malenia, because you have to be so close in, and not just that, but like when you roll away from, or like roll into her attacks, sometimes you're still not close enough to counter with an L1 or with just any attack with a power stance, the dagger build that isn't a heavy attack. And the heavy attacks don't do nearly as much damage as when you get like all 3 or whatever hits it is in off the L1. So that really annoyed me, and I guess you could say this about every boss. Of course, there's gonna be every boss is gonna have like weapons that they're like annoying to do with. So that's not really my argument here. I'm just explaining like how my process went of fighting her. So I guess that really, I tried for a long time to do her like that. Got her into second phase multiple times like that as well. But eventually I knew I had to change my build. Like, I wanted to do Malenia for the first time, and not as a challenge build, like, or like, it's not a challenge one, right? I don't have to make it that hard for me. If I see the weapon is not working that well, I can change it. So I settled for Health and Steeple. Just such a cool int weapon, it looks amazing, but I knew it was gonna be way easier with that. Like, just how easily you can stagger her with a greatsword, or is it like ultra greatsword? I don't know. It's such a difference maker. And the other thing though is that her waterfowl dance, what everyone's talking about, of course, man, I feel conflicted about that. Like, it's a bit weird in my opinion that she, like, the how do I say this, like, the difference in difficulty is so insane in this game. You have bosses like Malenia, like Remembrance, main story, I guess, in a way, bosses like Malenia, and I don't know, main story Remembrance bosses like Rennala, who are like so easy. But then you have something like Malenia, like, I don't know. But the waterfall dance is just, I get that you like have to get good at the game and everything, right? Of course. But when you're close to her, it is so damn difficult. What was it actually? So I looked up online, like, how you're supposed to dodge it when you're close, and I actually did, like, I understand how it works, how you can do it. For example, like, I guess there's different ways, right? But you can lock off the camera on the first flurry of her attack, run like a circle around her, dodge in the right time, this and that. I saw that you can also do it without locking off the camera, which is what I tried to do. I did manage, like, once to perfectly dodge her from up close, like everything, like dodge all the damage when I was literally standing next to her. But the first flurry is just honestly mainly my main complaint. The first flurry of her waterfall dance. When you're up close to her, it's just, I know it's possible, it's just too hard for me to dodge. And yeah, the second and third, they are honestly pretty easy. Like, once you have it down a bit, I actually wasn't struggling. Like, which one was it? Is it the second one that you can roll through on a timing? And I think so. And then the third one, you can literally, like, when she's in the air, run into her, and then when she passes over you, you can run backwards, so you don't even have to roll that one. So that was pretty satisfying. Just if the first flurry wasn't so annoying. Of course, you can just always keep your distance and run away to never get hit by the waterfall dance, but that's just ass. Like, I don't know. I want to fight, like, close up, you know? And also the HP drain, like, was that really necessary? I fought her, like, after Mohg, like, come on, like, more or less after Mohg. Was that really necessary? Another boss who drains your HP, and this one is, like, way worse in that regard. I don't know if the HP drain was really necessary. I guess what I can appreciate about that is that it's, like, I guess, a way to balance the boss in a way so that you're not forced to no-hit her, of course, but you with any build, you cannot just trade hits, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So I think that's actually a cool way to balance it. But it's also annoying. Come on, like, I don't know. I guess the boss is probably fine as it is. If it wasn't for the first flurry of the waterfall dance, I think her second phase isn't that bad, to be honest. I mean, she has a lot of the same attacks. It's not that it's not that bad, it's just not too different, but it looks really cool, of course. Like, everything about the looks and design, like, people have said everything about it already, haven't they? So in a way similar to Mohg, it's a boss that I definitely hope that I can like more in the future. I'm trying to stay open-minded about it. I actually could see her landing higher than Mohg eventually, in theory, because she doesn't have that annoying gimmick or whatever, you know, with the crystal tier or anything comparable to that. Maybe I'm just too bad to appreciate her fully. Nah, but yeah, for now she's gonna actually end up in B tier for me. But I hope that I will like her more eventually, and I'm fairly hopeful that she'll at least be maybe A tier in the future. Alright, and we're getting to, I guess, the second final main boss, or like, if you're doing the story, the second last boss. In a way, the twin princess of Elden Ring. Horaloo, I hope I pronounced that right. I really like the first phase. I guess you fought him already not too long before, if you're like doing it, I guess, as soon, like if you're doing him as soon as Goldwyn, but which I think is weird. Like I don't know. I don't like the whole thing of fighting the same boss multiple times, even if it's just like one phase. I don't know. But as for his actual fight, I actually like it. I like it a lot. The first phase feels very fair. His attacks are telegraphed, and I think it's cool how you can like jump over his like earthquake attack thing, or at least I think some of them. I'm actually not sure if you can jump over the big one where like the half of the arena is split, but it feels very fair. His second phase is weird. I don't know. I feel like when I beat him, I hadn't really figured it out yet. I was low-key just running away and going in for safe hits. Because he's so scary. He's so scary in the second phase. He's just running at you and wants to grab you. Like low-key, that's kind of annoying, but just because I'm bad. Like I will recognize it in this case. In the second phase, that I was just getting grabbed and thrown around the arena so much because I hadn't figured it out. But I can tell that if you are more familiar with the fight, that it's still as fair as the first phase probably. And I don't know, it's just cool one-on-one combat, you know, man versus man in a way. And to be honest, I don't have that much else to say. Just I think an all-around good boss, and he's actually A tier for me. Between Radahn and Mohg for now. I don't think this is a hot take in itself, like maybe next to these two, I guess, maybe even not at that, but having Horaloo A tier is probably like a pretty normal take, I would say. And I'm glad that he's one of the required bosses, I guess, because he is a good fight, unlike a Fire Giant or the Godskin duo, which isn't even a remembrance, but for some reason you have to beat it to beat the game glitchless without like with the least amount of bosses possible. Like, oh my god, couldn't they have made, I don't know, like maybe Mohg or I don't know, some decent or like some pretty good boss mandatory instead of Godskin duo. I didn't struggle with Godskin duo, just for the record. I just don't like the fight. Okay, it's just not enjoyable. But yeah, Horaloo A tier for me for now. And next we're gonna have the actual final boss of the game, because I'm gonna rank Radagon and Elden Beast together, because I think that's the only way it makes sense. Like, I don't know, who separates the two phases of the Twin Princes, or Demon Prince, or Sister Friede. Imagine having like a different tier list for first phase Friede and second phase, for example. I know you're not fighting them at the same time, but it's just the same boss. Come on, it's the same fight, I guess. Not moveset wise, but there's no break in between. So yeah, I'm gonna rank them together. Radagon, at first, I'll be honest, I just tried to finish the game. It was late in the night. I think it was actually the same day I beat Malenia finally. Well, Gideon, but he's easy. Horaloo, which took me like a little bit, maybe like 40 minutes. And then I just wanted to finish the game. So I got a little bit tilted, I'll be honest, at Radagon, because I gotta say his input reads are very noticeable. I know, like, yes, every boss does this in a way, every enemy, that's how a game works, I guess. But I think with him it's pretty noticeable. It's kind of like, I think with Champion Gundyr it's also a bit noticeable. And if I remember correctly, the... Oh, what are they called? Those knights in Elden Ring? With like the golden like horns and things like that. The Crucible Knights. I think if I remember correctly, it also seemed like they were input reading quite strongly. But yeah, when I did him the next day, it's whatever. You just gotta pick your heal timings wisely, honestly. That's pretty much all there is to it. And I found his teleport attack a bit weird as well. Because he can be very untelegraphed. Like, sometimes he'll just teleport like into you. Like, his teleport is just so fast. Like, he'll disappear and then boom, he's back. And sometimes even like in the middle of the teleport animation, he'll already throw like small arrow, like lightning stuff at you or something like that. That was a bit annoying, but other than that, I think his attacks are fairly well telegraphed and fun and look cool. I actually had a lot of fun, like on consecutive tries, to do Radagon. So the boss fight as a whole is gonna land in B tier for me. If it was just Radagon, he would probably be A tier, I think. But Elden Beast, it's not a bad boss fight, but it's just like, in a way, it's for me, it's like an Elden Ring boss in a nutshell, and maybe that's even what it's supposed to be. I mean, it is the Elden Beast after all, but it's just a big thing with lots of light and flashes and colors and effects across my screen, and not that much quality, I guess, in most of the time you're fighting it behind. I guess, like, I don't know. People are saying it, like, it's not actually as annoying for me, the way it's running away and you having to chase it sometimes. It's not that bad to me, actually. I mean, B tier isn't a bad tier, right? But I actually wasn't using torrent. I know you can use torrent, like that they updated it, that you can use it. But I don't know, for some reason I don't know, I guess maybe I was a bit too scared that like he would catch me while I was hopping on the horse or hopping off and would just one-shot me with something. But I just think it's kind of, the visuals aside, of course, I think it's kind of an unremarkable fight. It's cool, like it's satisfying to run away from the, well, is it Elden Stars? Like that attack where like a billion, or I think it might be not Elden Stars, but like the similar looking attack, I don't know. It's kind of satisfying to run away from that. I saw little Aggie dodging that attack by like just walking in a circle. I think that looked so cool. I think it was in his video where he did Elden Ring with 1 stamina, something like that. But yeah, as for the actual combat, I think it's kind of boring. He's very slow. When you have your window, I mean the windows to attack aren't that frequent, but when you have it, he's just kind of existing there and you can just hack away at him, I guess. I don't know. He's alright, but if it was just Radagon, the final boss of Elden Ring would be higher for me. So as the second last boss, so I did finish the base game, and then realized that I hadn't found these last 2 enemies, both of them dragons. The first one of the 2 that I did was Fortissax. How do you pronounce it? The Lichdragon? I don't know. At the end of Fia's quest line. I don't know, I first tried him, I mean, at this point I was such a high level, right? Like, I was gonna first try, second try, third try him or whatever, but I did first try him, barely, I guess. But, so I don't have the best feeling for it, for the fight, I should say, because I kind of just tanked a lot of the hits, you know, and just traded hits with him. But, it was a bit weird, I don't know, I guess it was, in a way, maybe your typical Souls game dragon fight, where, well, he also has a bunch of effects, so you know it's an Elden Ring dragon, but like a lot of light just flashing across your screen. But I don't know, just like the camera is kind of annoying sometimes. Of course I wasn't locking on him, but still, sometimes his model is just in the way and stuff like that, and you're not exactly sure where you should be hitting him. His attacks aren't that telegraphed, or actually like his lightning attacks aren't telegraphed at all from what I could tell. Like, instinctively I know, of course, there's ways to, you know, predict what's gonna come and stuff, but just from the feel of it, it wasn't that fun. His lightning, like his red lightning attacks kept coming like out of nowhere and catching me off guard. But I will recognize that I probably am not the most qualified to rank him properly yet after first playthrough and after just 1 try. So I hope he will land higher for me. He'll stay in C tier for now. I hope he'll land higher for me, but I'm actually not sure, because I don't think I hear that many people praise him. I don't hear many people hate on him, but I think it's just probably, like, looks aside, again, not the most remarkable fight in this game. And then the last boss was, for me, of the remembrances in Elden Ring on my first playthrough, was Placidusax. I hope I pronounced that right. What's he called, like the ancient dragon or something like that. So amazing cutscene when you find him. Super cool arena as well. I actually don't remember the OSC. I don't remember the OSC for too many of these fights. Malenia has a cool one. I have heard that OSC for long enough in game, trust me. I do recognize that one. Mohg has probably the best one. I don't know if I recognize too many of the other ones. Maybe Radahn's actually. But yeah, Placidusax, actually, I enjoyed him. I didn't think I would like him that much, but he was actually better than Fortissax, and for me, I think he places between Malenia and Elden Beast Radagon on my first playthrough. The way I beat him was actually really fun. I first tried him as well, but I played with I dual wielded, no, I like, how do I say this? I was wearing a Rennala staff on as like my main weapon. I had a two-handed and on my back I had the staff that increases the glintstone blade sorceries, I think they're called, and was basically just using Rennala staff to just cast Korean Slicer, you know, the fast slice sorcery, to like basically have a physical magic build, because I thought it was cool. I always wanted to try that out, so I thought that might be my last chance on the first run, and that was really fun. Like, maybe I'll even do like a whole run or something with that. You just do so much DPS, it's insane. I wonder, like, I heard actually that this boss is kind of bulky. It's not like I was melting him, right? I think the fight in total still took like 6 minutes. Of course, he's also just flying around a bit, but that's actually something I appreciate about him. He's not the type of like big enemy that just keeps running from you. He does fly, but he flies towards you, and like I would say frequently. It's not that often, at least on my first experience, where I had to literally run across the arena towards him. He does close the distance quite a bit with his aerial attacks, and I think his attacks are just really well telegraphed, to be honest. Like, I had a lot of fun dodging the ones where he's like becoming a cloud and then like flying into you. You'll probably know what I mean. I think those were like fun to dodge actually, because I was like moving the camera freely to like track him and then just dodge on the right time, you know. I don't think I ever got caught by that, and I think his like physical attacks, you know, where he uses his claw to swipe you, they're also well telegraphed. I don't know, they feel like DS3 attacks, like DS3 boss attacks to me, and I appreciate that. It just felt very good and very natural to me. It looks super cool, the boss. I actually think I'm gonna listen to the OST like after I'm done recording this, because I'm curious what it sounded like. I could imagine that it sounds good. But yeah, I think it just an overall really solid boss, to be honest. And I think that was a good way to, a good final boss for me to end the game with, like, on like a pretty good note. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to doing this boss a couple more times, I would say, and with different builds. I can imagine that it changes quite a bit for this one, what the build you have, because like I said, I heard he is a bit bulky, and I did do him when I was like super over leveled, I guess, in a way. So yeah,